I'm Kelly Siegel, and this is Harder Than Life, a podcast about self-love, self-awareness, business, and health. We tell outrageous stories and boil everything down to simple, practical advice you can start using today. Let's get living. Welcome back to the Harder Than Life show, my lovely Seagulls. Today's guest is the smartest man I know, and his wife is even smarter. I met this brainiac at a mastermind in New York and liked him immediately. We're going to talk all things health with Dr. Tyler Panzner, but first, please head over to the YouTube and see how handsome this man is. His smile lights up any room, and soon he will be a household name through his holistic genetic health optimization practice. Welcome to the show, my good friend.
What's going on, my man? Thank you so much for having me on.
Man, we talked last week recently in LA, and I just got to know you at such a great level, and I'm going to share your brilliance with the audience. And what we're going to do is we're going to dig deep, and we're going to use me as a guinea pig. So first, in your bio, it says you're passionate about genetics and medicine since the age of 6. Tell us how this all started and why we need to listen to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So as long as I can remember, I've always been gravitating towards science, going to science camps and really just bugging all my teachers in class, asking why, asking questions, how, why, and eventually they're like, Tyler, that's not the point of this class. That's beyond the scope of, this lecture or this class. And I always wanted to be, Steve Irwin was my idol. I remember I cried for months when he passed away. I initially wanted to be a scientist for, larger scale animals. I wanted to be, whether it was a marine biologist or a herpetologist studying reptiles, just really fascinated me. Just all these different species of animals, all these different traits they had. And I remember once I started taking biology class, I think it was in 11th grade, going more on the cellular level, I was like, whoa, this is a whole new world. So you're telling me my body is made up of trillions and trillions of these little microscopic versions of me, these little cells that all of my DNA that somehow put together make me. It just really blew my mind. And inside of each one of these little cells are millions of little proteins. It's like a little mini city inside of each one of these cells. And it was just absolutely mind-blowing to me. So I did my undergraduate studies, college at University of South Florida, and I did cellular molecular biology. I didn't really want to be I didn't want to be a regular physician doctor. I didn't like the idea of having sick people scream at me all day to give them their medications and this and that. Was really interested making my own pre-workouts. I was putting the DMAA in it back in the day. We were really stemmed up back in the day on that pre-workout. You were really euphoric and just tweaking all these little things. And just the fact that, our reality is just these electrochemical messages in our brain. So, you add a little bit more of this brain chemical and, you're more jacked up for the gym. You add this one, you're a little more calmed down. You have a little tweak and someone can have schizophrenia, which is just really, really fascinating to me. And I decided to do a PhD in pharmacology. So become an expert in how substances affect cells and whether that's a drug, a vitamin, a supplement, just how our cells respond to things. So I could learn how to control cells, how to make cells do kind of what I want them to do at that given period of time. And I studied all the different cell types in the brain. So I did multiple sclerosis research, anxiety research, depression research. I did some stem cell research, and then I did my thesis work on breast cancer. So how breast cancer can metastasize with inflammation and how that all interplays together. And I really got interested with genetics. 23andMe became a thing. I sent in my kit. The reports I was getting were more likely to think cilantro tastes like soap. That's not really game-changing information. If it's cool, I guess, but I was really trying to get to the bottom of my health. And I kind of ripped apart and pieced together the raw data myself, and was really able to dramatically improve my life, my brain fog, my anxiety. I actually have a mutation that makes my brain cells not grow as well. So when I try to learn new skills or become a better person, it's that much harder for me to do that because of this mutation. But once I figured out natural things I could do to support that, that was a huge exponential growth curve for me. And I'm still on that train now, just always wanting to be better, think better, be better for myself, be better for my wife, be better for other people, and continue to hone my craft. And yeah, left the corporate job in January, been doing my holistic genetic health optimization practice. And, just so grateful for the journey I've been on, that I've been changing so many lives, and just really excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, you're on a rocket ship, and let's get specific. I am in tremendous mental and physical shape, but we can always get better, and I am addicted to the expansion of my being, and I want to, walk me through your program and how you would optimize me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, first step, order the DNA kit. That shows up at your door. Spit in the tube. It has prepaid shipping. Send it back to the lab. Those results take maybe 3 or 4 weeks to come in. And then after that, I take that information. So this platform that I uses artificial intelligence. We're talking 83 million mutations that, like, it'll piece together and funnel it down to figure out what vitamins you need more of, what you're more prone to. So you may be more prone to anxiety, but are you more prone to anxiety because you make too much adrenaline? Or are you prone to anxiety because your brain can't slow down enough? So, like, either there's too much.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Ty, you know that neither of those negative things are me. I'm prone to awesomeness.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just kidding.
We'll have to do a study and check the gene for that.
So I want to optimize more of that. How do we do that?
Yeah. So again, figuring out, does your brain have too much gas, not enough brakes? The end effect is the brain that's moving too fast. So in reality, we're a combination of these things, but I'm essentially figuring out, what are the biggest weak points for your cells? What nutrients can you not absorb as well? Can you not activate as well? Let me give you more of those nutrients. Which nutrients and chemicals are you sensitive to? And let's limit those. In a nutshell, that's what I do. I list these.
Is that platform proprietary or just only available to doctors? Or you said you have this platform.
Yeah, so I use this. Yeah, so I use this self-decode platform. So it's kind of like 23andMe, but it's really juiced up on steroids, basically, and really just a lot more comprehensive. But I'm taking those reports, and I'm even steps ahead of them, and really layering my expertise on top of that. My background in pharmacology makes me an expert in how things affect the body. So all these doctors you see, whether it's conventional medicine or holistic medicine, they're experts in their fields. Neurology, gut health, heavy metals. None of them are experts in supplements or how they work. So I see people all the time, Kelly, all the time. It drives me nuts. This is why I'm trying to be so loud and proud about my mission. They're taking a supplement that may help one thing, but any supplement does many things in the body. Like, think of a jigsaw puzzle. You have the puzzle piece needs to fit on all four sides of the puzzle piece. But most people say, oh, you're inflamed, take this anti-inflammatory. Well, what if it's doing other things in your body that actually don't align with your biology? So really, I call what I do hyper-personalized medicine, not just personalized. It's not just about what nutrients you need. It's about which supplements fill that void that don't aggravate other issues you may have going on. So basically, I'd put together probably 30 different recommendations for you that are really cross-examined. We have an hour-long talk, and I love educating people about the story of their body. It's not just about, people are sick and tired of, hey, here's these pills or drugs or supplements, take them, and they don't really know what's doing what. So I'm really like educating people about why their body's functioning, how it's functioning, and what these supplements are going to be doing for them. I think everyone should have a basic understanding of what they're putting in their body. And then from there, you get diet recommendations, vitamin, supplement, lifestyle recommendations that are custom tailored to you. And then you're on your way.
So our mutual friend, Dr. Joel Wusso, sent me the DNA testing kit. Is that what you want me to do?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to do it now because I heard everything you said. So you dumbed it down for me. I thank you. Because my audience is going to be like me and be like, okay, what specifically does he want us to do? So we'll put a link. Make sure you send me exactly what you want the people to do, and I'll put in the show notes. And then, so it sounds like, hey, just go fill out this form on this ancestry thing, and then you get the results, and then you personalize a health optimization plan. From that, where will they get the supplements? Do they get those from you?
Yeah, so I don't have my own supplement brand, but I do have an online supplement dispensary. All my clients get discount across the board, and they keep those discounts forever. So they get a discount there, and yeah, like I said, I don't have a brand as of yet, and it's kind of a issue for me mentally. I'd like that everyone asks me, "You're going to start a supplement company," and I'm like, well, knowing what I know, I kind of have this moral dilemma. Like supplement companies, they're better than big pharma in certain ways, but at the end of the day, they're trying to just have people to sell their supplements to as many people as possible. But knowing what I know, how certain supplements can actually harm people, make their health worse, it's like I feel like I would make this company and I would tell people, hey, this is only for people if you have XYZ, nobody else, which really isn't that great for business. You know what I mean? Like I'm too noble, if you will, to like knowingly do that. And that's the problem with knowing all this supplement pharmacology. But yeah, as of right now, I do have brands that I know and trust. And all you guys listening, one thing I've been very vocal about, do not get your products off of Amazon. Especially double check the vendor you're getting it from. There are so many knockoffs that have mold, that have no ingredients, that have dangerous chemicals in them because it's not very well regulated. If you want to go buy a supplement from Amazon, you better double check that that vendor selling it is actually the company they're claiming to be. 9 out of 10 times, it'll be some other name of another company and they're basically selling counterfeit products. So that's why I do have a supplement dispensary that gets direct from the manufacturer. And then I do have certain brands and products that I know and trust. But I'm basically telling people, everything I use is over the counter. So you can get all these things on your own anyway and fuck yourself up if you want. But then you have me to really like hone you in on what makes the most sense for you. Most people I work with, they're like, Tyler, I have 5 to 10 grand of supplements in my pantry over the past 5 years. I have no idea what's doing what. They're sitting there. I'm like, yeah, well, for a fraction of that, you could have worked with me and figured all that out. And the coolest part about genetics is these mutations happened the second sperm met egg. These are locked in from when you were born until the day you die. So this information you get, these recommendations, these will always be useful and aligned with your biology because those mutations are set in stone.
You use that word a lot, mutations. I think I know what it means, but can you layman's term that for me?
Absolutely. Yeah. So our genetic code, it's basically a whole bunch of letters. The letters A, T, C, or G. Those 4 letters spell our entire genetic code. And it's a huge strand of DNA. And the mutations I look at, think of it as a misspelling. So imagine if instead of an A, where you should have an A, you have a G. The DNA is an instruction manual that your body uses to make proteins. Proteins, I mentioned before, the little city inside of all these cells, they're proteins that carry out all the functions. Let's just say you eat some eggs and you have the cholesterol in your bloodstream. How do you absorb that cholesterol? Break it down and transport it through your cells to go into the cell membrane and things. So these are the workhorses for your cells. So if you have a misspelling in that genetic code, it doesn't always, but it can mean the protein doesn't work as well. So let's just say that misspelling, the A, it should be an A, but it's a G. That instruction manual makes the protein that helps you make serotonin, makes you feel happy, makes you feel good. If that misspelling happens, that protein may only work 80% as well as it should. So you have roughly 80% the serotonin levels you should be having. And these same mutations have been linked to, if you have this, you have a higher risk for addictions, depression, insomnia, gut issues. And this has been well established in the literature just because, it makes sense. If that is hardwired with that misspelling, that mutation did not work as well, of course it'll be linked to these things. Now, to take it one step further, you can have many mutations on a single gene. So I've worked with people that, if someone has one mutation there, 80% the serotonin they should have. If they're living a good lifestyle, they're exercising, sunlight, good relationships, sleeping good, they may be able to get by, and, be happy in life. But if someone has 4, 5, 6 mutations in that gene, it only works 10% as well as it should. These are the people that no matter what they do everything right. they are still horribly depressed. These are the people that have been on medications throughout their entire life. And so you kind of see what I'm getting here. There's levels to this, but these mutations I check. Most people think of genetics. They hear mutation. They think 1 in a million, super, super rare. And it's like a really, really horrible thing. I look at mutations that sometimes over half the population has them. Now, each mutation that I look at, I call them like the holistic mutations on their own, may not be a big deal. But when you stack them all up together and you have 6 on one gene, that's how you can get these insights and through natural means make these life-changing improvements for people.
Is anyone truly healthy? Like you've met me, and I live a pure lifestyle, but as I'm about to show you, I got protein bar, protein drink.
Yeah.
And then I just guzzled down a bunch of coffee, and then here's my water. So talk to me about what the average human and me are doing to.
You're definitely way ahead. Yeah, you're definitely way ahead of the average human, especially in America. Let me give you credit where credit's due. But that's a really interesting question. Is anyone, it's all about the spectrum. It depends on what you really want out of life. To me, being healthy is being free of disease, of course. But also, I think if you can wake up feeling well rested, I'm a fan of caffeine. I have a little caffeine in the morning. I don't have a problem with caffeine, but you can wake up feeling pretty well rested. Maybe have a little bit of caffeine in the morning, and have good physical, mental energy throughout the whole day. So if a curveball gets thrown your way, you got to figure something out mentally. Can you handle that with grace? And can you think your way through problems as they arise? You can do that throughout the whole day, and you sleep well. To me, that's what being healthy is. It's not just simply not having a severe ailment. A lot of people, most people, settle. And like, imagine if you had a spectrum here. So if you had people that are very, very sick, they're going to die tomorrow. They got to go to the hospital. Then you have people that are perfectly healthy. But in reality, most of us, 80% of that's in the gray area. People that say, oh, I have a headache once a week. Oh, yeah, my knees hurt. Oh, yeah, I get bloating like after a lot of my meals. Like, that is not normal. That is not healthy. You are not thriving. I'm in the health optimization game. How do we make you feel the best you can feel? Well, yes, the first step for a lot of people is helping to reverse some of their chronic health issues. The next step is, how do I educate you so you know exactly what's causing your brain fog so you can live the rest of your life free of brain fog? And it's a totally new world. I personally struggled from brain fog the first, 25, 26 years of my life. I couldn't imagine if I knew what I knew now when I was a kid. I remember taking my SATs in school and stuff. I was like, I gotta ram these thoughts through my brain because I just can't think very clearly.
I tell you, I just had a whole new awareness of mine. I'm about 80-20. I have the 80-20 rule in everything in my life. So 80% of the day I'm spot on. I wake up pretty rested. I can go, but I hit the wall at 3, 4. But probably is because I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm trying to push to go 120 every day. And you know me enough to know that. So that's yours is going to take me from here to hyperspace. So that's going to be fun. We're going to switch gears for just 2 seconds because I want your opinion on something. And it's going to be a bit controversial. The data suggests that the old and obese were affected by COVID most. Do you agree with that? And what could have been done? What could we have done better as a nation?
Yeah, first off, I absolutely agree with that. I think that a lot of these issues stem back to vitamin D levels. A lot of people, especially in the holistic space, they kind of bash vitamin D. They say it's a hormone. You shouldn't be taking it. But there are so many mutations. Like I have a double mutation. I will never make enough vitamin D from sunlight alone. I dealt with health issues, severe vitamin D deficiency levels, middle of the summer. Big beach guy. I'm outside all the time. I'm like, what? I asked my doctor, what the hell is going on? Why are my levels so low? I'm in the sun hours every day. They had no idea. Well, turns out that protein that makes vitamin D from cholesterol in our skin, it barely works for me. So, and
wait, hold on. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
That's what you mean by a mutation.
Yes.
Oh, the light just went on for you. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Now I get it. Okay.
It
So
hardwires your cells. A certain function in the cells just doesn't work as well as it should. So, and what do you know? This same exact mutation I have has been clinically studied, peer-reviewed studies. This is from many years ago too. It's linked to increased early onset dementia, obesity, type 1, type 2 diabetes, dental cavities, Parkinson's disease, fatty liver disease, all diseases that are linked to lower vitamin D levels. So this is why I just laugh when people try to act like genetics are all a scam. I'm like, we've known for so many years the same exact mutation that I think 40% of Caucasians have lowers it hard. Everyone says get vitamin D from sunlight. The sun is so healing, but the vitamin D aspect doesn't work as well for me. So you can also have every step, how I transport it throughout the body, how my cells sense vitamin D, how I convert it. I have to take a special form of vitamin D because not only can I not make it as much from sunlight, but a regular vitamin D supplement, my body can't convert that into the next step. So all these different steps are like bottlenecks, if you will, and they're all linked to these types of diseases, including COVID-19 severity. These same exact mutations have been linked to that. So, and now when you tie this into older populations, as you mentioned, part of that is, I think, just the aging process. You know, the body, no matter who you are, no matter how well you take care of your body, aging is, inevitable. But at the same point, there's a lot that we could do. There's a lot of things in our bodies that decrease as we age. Nitric oxide, that's what dilates your blood vessels, give you a pump. Like, you ever heard of like citrulline or like agmatine in like pre-workout supplements, like pump supplements?
Anything with teens in it, I love it. It makes my body tingle.
Exactly. Yeah. The beta alanine too. Yep. That's the beta alanine. Yep.
And if I don't get the tingles, I didn't think it worked.
Yeah, and it's funny too. I just found out I have a lot of mutations where I actually have a higher need for that beta alanine you're mentioning, and I take it before every workout too. And it's ironic. I've been loving it for several months now, and I just found out I have a lot of mutations. That means I need more of it, and I'm like, huh. Well, checks out. No wonder why I feel so freaking good on it.
I think that we're very similar because I find that, obviously with my tan and I have a house in Florida and I have a convertible, I'm always in the sun. I find that I'm more optimized when I'm popping additional vitamin D. Do me a favor. Would you just text me the workout, the pre-workout that you recommend as well as the vitamin? Because you said you use a special vitamin D.
Yeah.
Why don't you share it with the listeners? Because if it works for us, it might work for them.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, personally, I mix agmatine sulfate, beta alanine, and citrulline. I just have big powders, and I just pre-mix them myself. I don't need the flavors, that stuff.
Not everybody's a doctor, Ty. So how can they get access to it? Like me, I'm busy as can be. I run 4 companies, and it's like I want to be able to grab something and just say, okay, Dr. Ty said to use this. How do I do just that?
Well, sounds like I got to start making my own products then.
We're going to talk offline about that because I got a portal coming out, and I forgot. We're gonna have some fun in our family, and we're gonna figure out a way to help each other because I got some captive people that are gonna want to know all this stuff. So
awesome. No, but real quick. The vitamin D, D.velop, D.velop. I'm pretty sure they only sell it in the US. That is the vitamin D form, and again, a lot of people have mutations. They can't convert it into the form. They can't convert regular vitamin D supplements. So we take the next best thing. We bypass those genetic mutations. I have 4 mutations in that gene. So I have a lot of clients. They take vitamin D. It barely goes up. They don't know why. And what do you know? They have several mutations in that gene. I give them that D.velop, 2 tablets with breakfast. Their levels go through the roof in a good way. And then whether it's their inflammatory issues, their mood issues, even sleep issues, energy issues, all can kind of resolve themselves. And then back what you said before, I want to touch on too. So you said older people, and then you said people that are overweight with the COVID. Now, and I also want to tie into minorities. So African Americans, Hispanic populations, and this all can be explained by vitamin D. So vitamin D is a fat soluble vitamin. So vitamin D will get stored in body fat. So the higher your body fat, the lower the vitamin D that circulates in your bloodstream because it's so drawn to the fat on your body. So the people that are overweight, obese, body fat's inflammatory, point blank. So that's already starting you out in an inflammatory state. But the next level of that is lower vitamin D circulated in your bloodstream. So, and that's been clinically proven. So again, tying that back to vitamin D levels, more stored in the fat. Well,
Okay, now
what
you got
about
me intrigued about the minorities. What's the difference in a minority that
yeah, so the more melanin in your skin, the less you respond to UV radiation in the sun. So the darker your skin, the harder it is for your skin to make vitamin D.
has
So
this been
I
proven?
yep, yep,
Wow, you just
yep,
solved COVID.
yep, yep,
Vitamin D.
yep. And um, and then on top of that, I mentioned, I'm Caucasian, pretty fair skinned,
You don't
Scandinavian,
say.
and I have a mutation that makes my skin not make vitamin D as much. Now, just imagine if someone of darker skin complexion, they're already starting out with lower conversion because of their skin pigmentation, and then imagine they have mutations on top of that. So it's a double whammy there. And then of course, I'm not disputing, is there some inequities in healthcare quality, across different demographics and stuff? Perhaps, I'm not disputing that, but I do think all the attention's focused on that and not on the biological fact that the darker your skin is, the less vitamin D you make from sunlight. So you see all these things are connected with vitamin D.
If it's just as simple as vitamin D, why isn't everybody screaming this everywhere? Or is it because Big Pharma doesn't make any money off of it?
Yep, exactly. You can't patent these nutrients. Yeah. So, yep, you hit the nail on the head pretty much.
It's no secret that I gave up the naughty water and life got better. Not immediately, but eventually. All my aches and pains went away from the heavy lifting. Why is that?
Yeah, so alcohol, no way around it. Highly inflammatory, toxin of the body. Like you put any amount of alcohol on like cells in a culture in like a petri dish, those cells are going to shrivel up and die. It is highly, highly inflammatory and it actually damages DNA. So the mutations we've been talking about, those happen the second sperm meets egg. They're there your whole life. But what about mutations you get during your life? That's actually the beginnings of cancer. So cancer is when you get a mutation, it makes your cell, grow more than it should. Normally, that cell that starts getting cancerous, because we have cells mutating all the time, but our cells are finally controlled and they'll kill that cell or make it self-destruct. Hey, you're beginning to turn into cancer. So we're gonna off you. We're gonna take you out of the equation and keep all the healthy cells here. But once a cell gets the DNA damage, including from alcohol, that's why alcohol has been linked to every type of cancer that's ever been studied.
Do you know I didn't know that?
Crazy,
I just
right?
recently learned. I didn't know that.
Yep.
It's crazy the
Yep.
correlations between the amount of drinks that you drink and the chance of getting cancer. I didn't know that.
Absolutely, because that metabolite of alcohol literally can damage that DNA process. Because when your cells are growing, one cell splits to two, you have to duplicate that DNA, right? Imagine copy paste, and then it splits into two cells. But when it's copy and pasting, it can make errors. So one cell is fine. The
'Cause it's
other
drunk.
cell, exactly. That's a good way of putting it, actually. um, yeah,
We're
and
gonna
then
we're gonna stay on that, and I do.
yeah,
I know we could talk forever. It's just I want to make sure we get through everything because you're just as brilliant. This is such good information. I want everybody to hear it. I talked about the fact that I believe I was in withdrawals from when I stopped drinking. What foods and vitamins would you recommend if someone were to quit drinking and not feeling their best?
yeah, I mean, couple them definitely. I mean, vitamin D, actually, a
It
vitamin
keeps
D
coming up.
deficiency is linked to increased severity of alcohol abuse disorders. So, but regarding specifically withdrawals, I think that glutamine is an amino acid that gets depleted by alcohol. I don't know if you know this, alcohol withdrawals are one of the only type of drug withdrawals you can literally die. You can literally have seizures and actually die from that. Like an opiate withdrawal or, like a cocaine withdrawal, like you feel like garbage, but you won't necessarily die. Alcohol withdrawals after many years, you can literally drop dead from that. Glutamine a lot, I like a lot. And so I think it's Korean red ginseng has been shown in rat studies to make mice that are going through withdrawals a lot less anxious overall. Because what
Is
was
this
it?
what you're seeing with these anti-hangover pills? Is that what these are? You know, the
Sort of.
Thrive.
Yeah, so sort of. I actually, I was passing them out at our networking event. I've been working on a single serving all natural anti-hangover pill that whenever I get a second, I want to bring that to market. And basically, a lot of these companies, they work by hydrating you after the fact, which the damage is already done. You wake up with a hangover, the cellular damage already happened. You can take an ibuprofen, but the cellular damage already happened. A lot of these companies also use ingredients before you drink. Yes, it can help you break down the alcohol, but a lot of them make you get less drunk. So if you ask me personally, I like drinking socially here and there, but like if I'm not hungover because the product I took made the alcohol not get me drunk, that's just a double waste of money if you ask me, because I'd
Yeah.
rather just drink water then. I've been working on something that helps you break down the alcohol as you're drinking it while not preventing you from getting as drunk. But a lot
So
of these things.
you remember the Revenge of the Nerds? You might be too young. The
Yeah, I think I
movie
am.
Revenge of the Nerds, and they gave him the alcohol pill, and then he could run the race a lot better because this doesn't help you. This helps you break down alcohol better. And then he smokes the ogre in the race.
Yeah,
You
see,
know what I'm talking about?
I'm too young for that. Yeah.
I thought it was funny that the pill you were handing out was red, by the way, the red pill.
I know. I'm always capping supplements and stuff. So I ran out of the clear capsules. All I had were the bright fire truck red. And I'm like passing those out. We're having some dinner and drinks after the networking event. People are like, what are you giving me, Mr. Pharmacologist? I'm like, I swear. Hey, come on.
And you had
Professional event.
you had that pretty smile on your face, like you knew something that nobody else did. And I was like, what is he giving people?
Yeah.
We're gonna fast forward again. Vitamin D. We keep hearing it. I hear about this the gut mitochondria, and that keeps everybody talks about it. What is it, and why should we care?
Yeah, I think you meant microbiome. So yeah, gut microbiome, it's just a huge combination of not just bacteria, but also fungi, like parasites. A lot of microorganisms live in our gut. The number of bacteria in our gut outnumber the number of cells in our body. So if you're talking about by numbers of cell wise, technically we're a bacteria that has some human cells around them. That's how many bacteria are and microbes are in our gut. And these interact with our own body. It's been shown that they've literally done studies of this. You could take shit, literally feces from someone that's depressed and put that in a mouse that's happy, and the mouse gets depressed. And same with the flip side. If you take feces from somebody that is happy and give it to a mouse that you tortured to make it depressed, the mouse will get happy. So that's called the fecal transplant. And that kind of summarizes big bird's eye view of how important the microbiome really is. So there's also genetic mutations that can dictate which types of bacteria are more likely to survive in your gut. So these can interact and affect everything, inflammation throughout the body, your mood, how leaky your gut is. Your gut can get broken open by inflammation, the wrong microbes, and let a bunch of toxic stuff right into your bloodstream. So you can do like stool testing, feces testing for the microbiome. I don't do that in my practice, but I do sometimes outsource to people that are that use that treatment modality. But yeah, isn't that wild that the bacteria in our gut outnumber the cells in our body, which is just mind blowing to me.
So I was going to say that what a shitty job for those mice.
I mean, pretty much. I mean, I worked with mice for like 6 years, and when I first got there, I was doing brain research, and you got to go check on these mice each day, and then eventually you got to, humanely, of course, there's strict protocols for how you do these things humanely, but You
Oh,
got
we're
to
not worried
basically,
about the mice. We're
well,
catching them in under our freaking refrigerators and what. Let me ask you a question. You're brilliant, and I love you.
love you too.
Everybody go follow him at Dr. Tyler Panzner. It's at DrTylerPanzner on all social media channels. You have a website or anything yet?
Yep. So same thing, www.drtylerpanzner, no dot after the doctor. So exactly the tag you just said, get rid of the at, put a www dot,
We'll
and then
put
a
it in
.com
the show
after.
notes. We'll make sure we pump that up because we're gonna have you back on next year after you've optimized me because you know me, I want to take over the world.
Yep.
And I have the ability to, I just don't have the energy to, and it has to do with my sleep. And we've had a million talks about it. So I'm gonna do the DNA testing and send everything to you and order that vitamin D right away. So we'll come back on in 6 months to a year and when I'm floating, you'll know that it worked.
You're literally going to be a levitating ball of pure energy that transcended your physical form.
May God have mercy on all you guys. I apologize ahead of time. We're going to switch to you personally because I find you fascinating. And on our last trip, when I got to meet you and your wife and really deep dive, you have this amazing knack of accepting and listening to constructive criticism where most people don't. We talked about some extremely uncomfortable, tough things, and you're like, keep going. Tell me more. And even your wife was a sponge for it. I love that because I'm the same way. I am a learn-it-all. It took me many years. You're much younger than me, and I expect great things out of you. So I wanted to give you kudos for that. So I want to go into this. What single project or task do you consider the most significant accomplishment in your career to date?
I would have to say taking the risk, taking the plunge, and starting my own healthcare practice. It's either that or finishing my PhD. But the biggest impact, I think, has got to be starting my own spin on healthcare. That's basically my own brainchild, and kind of just, I think that people are missing all these dots to connect. So I basically put my money where my mouth is, went all in on it, kind of risked a lot of things and started off just kind of basically scraping pennies together, just trying to work with people just to see how well this works and kind of just growing it all on my own from there.
The best is yet to come. I can tell you that from what I've learned from you. Can you share any hobbies or interests outside of your professional life?
Yeah, so I am a deeply musical person. Super into. I played trumpet, guitar, taught myself some piano growing up. My grandma was a really prolific first chair violinist in the New York Philharmonic Orchestra. So my dad got none of the musical genes. He's an only child, and it got passed all down to me. And I remember being a little kid, like you could kind of hand me any instrument, and I could kind of, figure out how to play certain songs on it. And then I was also really big into art as well. So painting, oil painting. So a lot of people
Wow.
meet me, especially when they meet me externally, I'm like 6'3", 230 pounds. And they're like, wait, you're not this like asshole jock. Like you do music and art. And I'm like, yeah, like I remember one of the best compliments I ever got in my life. You behave. I think it was you behave or you act or you are the complete opposite of how you look. And at first I was like, what? And then I thought about it. And this was back in college when, most guys that were more muscular were just complete assholes to other people. You know what I mean? But I was never that type of guy ever. I always fought for the little guy. I got bullied for stuff. I was fat growing up. I got bullied for that and everything. And, that's part of the things that drove me to apply science to improve my body. But being told I'm the opposite of how I look, when you read between the lines, it's actually a really good compliment.
I think you're exactly how you look.
Yeah,
but I don't take you as once you say doctor, I'm like, huh? That's the only thing that throws me for a loop. Cause usually when you see a doctor, they've worked so hard to get where they want or where they are that they tend to have small man syndrome. And you don't, you're just a normal human that just is like, hey, I'm here to help. Bada boom, bada bing, which we're going to go into next, what do you want your legacy to be?
I want my legacy to be a person that drove sweeping changes across how healthcare functions. I gave up on the dream. I used to think I want the holistic genetics to be applied in every doctor's office in the country, in the world, but that's a pipe dream. That's never going to happen. Pharma, they're never going to allow that to happen. They can't patent these supplements. There's no way for them to make money. And honestly, it'll put a lot of doctors out of business. Like the horror stories I hear about these doctors that are experts in their fields that like, they just lack any critical thinking. Anything that's not in their rule book, X symptom, give Y test to prescribe Z drug. That's all most of them know. And and guys, don't bash the doc. I'm not bashing the doctors. I'm bashing the system. A lot of these people do want to do well and help people. The training curriculum is just completely messed up. So I gave up on that. My goal is to have a whole network of, whether it's like an institute somewhere in the country and then other, physical locations or telehealth type practice where I can educate practitioners, whether it's a conventional medicine doctor that wants to be holistic or holistic practitioners on how to use supplements properly and not only how to use supplements properly in general to make sure there's no interactions with medications or other issues, but how to understand the genetics to be able to make sure you're giving them the exact nutrient they need. It's not that I can't sleep. Give me something that helps me sleep. What exact pathway, what step in the things that calm down your cells for sleep is messed up? And let's support that exact thing first before we just start blindly throwing darts at a dartboard. That's how I view most doctors. They're literally just like this. They're like, oh, yep, come back in 6 weeks. Come back in 6 weeks.
He's covering his eyes and throwing a dart. I love it. I was just going to ask you how you see healthcare evolving in the future, but you just nailed it. I am extremely grateful that you just said that too, because I go to several doctors. I am a big on health optimization. Mm-hmm. And I go in and they always just say that we got to start with a blood test. And I said, can we just skip towards the point where you're going to prescribe your normal cocktail and just tell me what it is? Oh, no. And they give you the line. Oh, no. Everyone's different. And then I'll call my buddy and go, what did they prescribe to you? What did they prescribe to you? And everybody's the same. I'm like, stop playing the game. Exactly what you said. Let me ask you X, you take Y to give you Z. When I'm talking a lot, 4 or 5 different doctors in the last year have done that to me. And I'm like, you're giving me the same thing in a different form this other person has given me. I went to this doctor, which is the same thing because I have trouble with my sleeping that I can't stay asleep. And they try the same thing. I said, that didn't work. That didn't work. Well, we're different. Well, how is it different? It's just one big waste of time. And what do? I live with it. So tell us something you believe in that almost nobody agrees with you on.
Oh, that's a good one. That almost nobody agrees with me on. That's a tough one.
Oh, it can't be tough, man. You got so many great things that.
I mean, maybe I won't take no one so literally. I think that music are merely sounds that are tools to alter our cell biology. I firmly believe that, there have been studies that show that the right music can help grow new brain cells. I think that combining music with therapy can really open up a whole new door for healing yourself, realizing what maybe some of your traumas have been in the past that maybe you aren't actually aware of.
I have one for you. That's going to throw you for a trip. Do you believe that music could also be toxic? Meaning, instead of somebody sitting in their trauma and their feelings, they're turning on music.
Yes.
Like sex, like drugs. So how do you balance that dichotomy where when someone feels bad? I mean, I'd rather them listen to happy music or sad music, whatever makes them feel better, than take drugs or drink or have sex or scroll social media. But where's the happy medium there?
Yeah.
Don't tell me to take vitamin D.
So I definitely think it depends on what type of music it is. If you feel anxious and stressed, instead of putting on some calming, soothing things to maybe sit there calmly and go into your brain and figure out, why am I actually anxious? Like, what's the root cause of that? Like, what thoughts are making me feel this way? Instead, you just turn on, I'm gonna go bang this girl in the car, some like, really raunchy, like hypersexualized, like, hip hop rap stuff. Just to get yourself amped up while you go and scroll on Tinder to go find a girl just to sleep with for the night, just because you don't want to sit there and deal with your own emotions. You want to distract yourself. That's the big difference there to me. You know what I mean? Are you really interested in the truth of learning your body? Or like most people in the world, do you just say, oh, I'm anxious, and either go get prescribed Xanax, or you go and just drink alcohol, or all those things you just mentioned are escapisms? Are you using the music as a tool to go deeper inwards, or to make meaningful connections with others? Showing up at a girl's house, first Tinder date, and just going a banger, that's not making a meaningful connection. You may feel that way in the moment. You may feel good in the moment, but that is desensitizing you to what it means to have a meaningful connection, especially an intimate romantic connection. That's a huge problem. I've been with my amazing wife, we've been together for 11 years now. So like, I don't really know. I just talking to friends now that in their upper 20s, early 30s, trying to do the dating scene now. It sounds just absolutely a living nightmare. The games that are played and just the hypersexualization of it and just the ease of access to it.
Hold on. She's 20. You got her at 18?
Yep. I was 19.
Wow. That's awesome. That's such a good story. Yeah, I love that. What's the best and worst advice you've ever received?
I think the best advice was to go for it. Don't try to get another job. You got laid off from a job. Go all in on your dream, your goal right now. Like it's going to end up working out.
That advice.
You and Craig actually did. Yeah. Yep. You and Craig said go all in on that. Worst advice. Let me think.
Here, take this.
I think worst advice may have been the first lab I joined in my PhD. I was kind of told by my advisors that they want to take you, and turned out that my boss, the leader of that lab, I joined his lab, ended up not really being who I thought he was, and kind of, the other people kind of knew he was a little nutso a little bit, and kind of hush and didn't say anything because he needed students, if that makes sense. So I think that was that. I don't know if that was the worst advice though, because that put my back against the wall. I had to restart my PhD halfway through and change labs completely, which is very unheard of. But you know what? Because that bad advice led me to finding a better lab with my back against the wall. And I basically did a full PhD in 2.5 or 3 years. So,
you know what you're doing right now? You're in personal development because you turn every negative into a positive. And
yep.
I'm the same. We're all the same way. It's like, oh, well, if that didn't happen, this wouldn't happen. But it still sucks. So we get the concept. What are your final thoughts? And keep in mind, all of your information will be in the show notes. I'm going to have you back in person the next time, whether we do it in New York at a studio or here. And we're going to talk in depth about how we can partner together, because I have the portal coming out, that fitness app on steroids, awesome, so to speak. So we need to get a vitamin and a doctor ingrained into this as well. So give us your final thoughts, Dr. Tiger. You're amazing. I've loved every minute of this. We could talk forever, but we're up against it. So give me some final thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, I just truly think that I'll never be that guy saying these genetics, my personalized protocol, I'll never be that guy saying it cures everyone of everything always. If any doctor tells you that, you should run the other way, run for the hills. What I can say though is imagine health like a pie chart. You have diet, you have sleep, you have exercise, you have relationships, and then you have genetics. I personally believe every single person's health ailment, whether it's a minor health ailment or a disease, has a genetic contributor. People think of things as what is the cause? What is a contributor? Some people on the pie chart, genetics may be 15% of their issues. Other people, it may be 80%. So my job is to take that slice of the pie that is genetics and leave no stone unturned. And I'm doubling down on genetics. How many nutrition coaches are there? How many fitness coaches are there? How many, mindset coaches are there? How many genetic coaches are there? There is a massive, massive lack of people covering the genetics aspect. And last thing, leave all you guys, any of you guys aren't happy with where your health is at, or even, even if you're like Kelly, you feel good most of the time, but you want to know what else is out there, please feel free to reach out. I firmly believe every human being, this is a fact, every human being on the face of the earth has more than enough mutations for me to give them a full workup. The question is, what do you really want out of life? And, how bad poor is your health currently?
I started this podcast off saying you're the smartest man in the world, but I'm going to tell you one more thing. You have the most humility of any doctor, of any man I've ever seen, and that's going to take you places, my friend. I love you very much. Thank you for your time. We're up against it. I want to remind everybody that each and every episode is sponsored by National Technology Management, the easiest and best IT company to do business with, delivering peace of mind with technology every day. Visit trustntm.com for more info. Until next week, be harder than life. I love you, brother. Thank you for listening. Please rate and subscribe to Harder Than Life, and let's take this to the next level. Get connected at the links below.